How's it going, guys? Hope you guys are having a great Saturday so far. I'm trying to get through the most of this stuff as I can right now, and of course this is going to be my review on the Season 2 premiere of Episode 1 of My Hero Academia. I'm trying to get this done so that way I can go right into Attack on Titan Season 2 because I'm hearing great things about that episode so far. I'm just really hyped to get into it. But this right here was a good episode as well, just to get us reintroduced to the world and characters of My Hero Academia. And a lot of the characters, like, I still don't know a lot of their names yet just from watching Season 1, and I haven't read the manga, so I don't really know what's going to be coming for this upcoming season of My Hero Academia, but I just loved seeing the interactions and just getting to see more of the personalities within the classroom, but then also to see that we're getting a tournament arc this season, and I'm really excited to see all of our superhero students trying to hone their skills and enter this tournament so that way they can get seen by these top recruitment superhero agencies. That way they can become sidekicks and just move up the ranks in the superhero world. So there's a lot of stuff to dive into for this episode, but first I just want to start off with the opening. Now the opening, I think overall it was a good opening. I liked Season 1's opening a lot better, but I just got to see if this one grows on me. It was more mellow, I felt like, compared to the last season's opening, but overall I thought it was really good and I really enjoyed it. So I'll just see if it grows on me as I continue watching this season. And another note is I also watched both subbed and dubbed. This is one of the few shows where I can actually watch both the English and then the subbed versions, and I don't see a problem going from either or. I know some people have preferences when it comes to subbed or dubbed, but for this show I enjoy both of them. I think they are very good. But diving into the content of this episode, I felt like the first 10 minutes of this episode almost felt like recap in a way, or at least the first 8 minutes at least, because it was kind of just going over, it was decompressing all of the events that kind of happened at the end of last season, with the League of Villains, popping up and fighting All Might and, actually hurting him and actually causing him now to where he only has his abilities for 50 minutes to an hour and a half per day, which I think is just crazy right now. But majority of it was recap, but I still enjoyed actually, retreading on it, getting more familiar with what it was that I watched in Season 1, and just getting reacquainted with all of our favorite characters that we've come to know throughout this entire series. And so throughout the recap, we learned about the League of Villains, but we also have All Might delivering a letter. He wrote a letter to his mentor, or his sensei in a way, and while he's reading off this letter, we have the events of Season 1 kind of going off in the background, but we actually get to learn All Might's name. I think this is his name gets revealed in this episode, so it's Toshinori Yagi, so that's his human name, that's not his superhero name All Might, but it's very interesting that they kind of showed his mentor kind of just briefly, kind of in a cameo, and it's very interesting to see how this is going to play out in the future arcs and this future episodes of this season. We also have a lot of the teachers of the superhero school talking about the League of Villains within this episode, but all I just gotta say is the female superhero that was in this meeting was drawn and animated very well. She looked awesome, very cool design, but they were just overall talking about how Shigaraki, the main guy that brought all of these villains together, kind of acted like a man-child in a way, which I think is very interesting, because when you go back and watch the ending parts of Season 1, he was very selfish, he acted very bratty, and just felt like he wasn't getting his way, and he seems like a character that seems to always get what he wants, depending on his powers or just how he was raised. So it was very interesting to see all of these teacher superheroes, coming to learn more about his character and trying to formulate a plan dealing with these League of Villains, which I think is going to be very cool going on down the road, and how this all ties in to the UA Sports Festival, which got announced in this episode, and that's going to be this overall arc this season. And I'm really looking forward to see all of the students. I don't know a lot of their names, like I just said, but Invisible Girl, she was absolutely hilarious this episode, but also Tenya always cracks me up whenever he's on screen. And Mr. Aizawa, the teacher, I love how he just shows up in all of his bandages, and all the students were like, what is he doing here? He should be recuperating, because he got destroyed near the end of last season, and just to see him back so quickly, he's dedicated. But honestly, I would not be surprised if he just took it easy for a little bit. He deserves it because he is just an overall cool character. We also have Mineta, the pervert of this series, but I loved it, his interactions, talking with Deku and all the other students, but that moment with Ochako where she just starts getting all pumped and fiery, and she's getting kind of evil in her eyes in a way, when she's telling everyone, everyone do your best, I'm gonna do my best, and they're all wondering, why is she acting this way? And Mineta just immediately goes to PMS, and before he's able to finish his sentence, he just gets slapped by Frog Girl. That was really funny. I had to pause it just to laugh at that moment, but we get more into Ochako Ochako of why she wants to be a hero. And we come to learn she wants it for the money, which when you put it in that perspective, it does sound a little selfish and just like you're just in it for the riches and glory. But no, she's actually in for it because she wants to have money for her parents. She wants to basically raise enough money during her superhero job so that way she can actually support her parents, because right now they work a construction site, and as of right now their company is kind of going under and they're not able to support their lifestyle. So to see how kind of selfish and admirable this pursuit to actually use this job to make as much money as she can so that way she can support her family, I think is very cool. And Tenya, when he just like heard this and started going bravo, I was like, dude, this guy is hilarious. I love how he just reacted to that overall situation. And then we had All Might show up in there too, and that gave me another laugh as well, where he just shows up and is like, little Midoriya, it's like, want to have lunch with me? And Ochiko's like, oh my god, he's like a maiden. All Might is probably my favorite character throughout this entire series, and I love his interactions with Deku, and just to see how much of a father and mentor figure he is to him, and they have such a good relationship. Like, just with season 1 alone, the establishment of the mentor and student relationship between All Might and Deku is probably my favorite thing throughout this series, and I love to see how much respect, admiration, and how like in tune they are with each other. It's very cool to watch. But as they're having their lunch, you know, he's actually telling Deku about the injuries he's sustained fighting with the League of Villains, about how he only has his powers now for 50 to an hour and a half a day, and he's prepping Deku with this UA Sports Festival coming up, the Olympics of Superheroes, trying to establish Deku as this new symbol of peace, because All Might's not going to be a superhero forever now with the injuries that he's sustained, and passing on his superhero powers to Deku gives the chance of symbol of peace to live on through him. And we're just left with a lot of setup within this episode and the continued growth of Deku trying to utilize his new powers to the fullest extent, because he doesn't have a full control on them yet. But with the ending events of season 1, he realized that when he gave that punch to that brain morphed like duck thing, I don't remember his name right now, but when he punched him, he didn't break the bones in his hand. He actually was able to punch it, but it just didn't do anything. And they come to the conclusion that this was the first time Deku used his power on an actual person and not using it on like throwing a ball or like punching a robot. This was a legit person he tried to punch with all of his power, and they're trying to figure out a way that Deku could use that little circumstance that actually ended up working in his favor, not breaking his bones, and to utilize that more with Deku learning to harness and control this power, which we don't really have a conclusion to that yet. But overall, this episode was good setup and a good introduction back into the world of My Hero Academia, and just getting to see the students going back to school, getting really hyped for the tournament arc that's about to be coming up with the UA Sports Festival, and just Deku's continued journey on surpassing All Might as the symbol of peace, the ultimate hero for this story. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm also really looking forward to learning and seeing more of the personalities for these characters, because a lot of them, I really like the designs, I like their powers, and I like their overall personalities. I just got to get their names now, and if you guys could just let me know the names of these characters, because like there's Electric Guy, there's Invisible Girl, I know Ochako, I know Deku, I know Bakugo, Mineta, and then like Tenya, but I don't know a lot of the other characters, like the bird-faced guy. I have no idea what his name is right now. So if you guys can just let me know in the comments, that would be awesome. But overall, this was a good episode just to introduce us back into this world. And I just want to hear your thoughts on this overall episode for the season 2 premiere. What did you think of this episode? Did you think it was good? Did you feel like how I did, like the first couple 8 minutes of this episode felt kind of like recap in a way? I know they also did a recap for this last week, but it just felt like this was another recap. But once we got past that, we got some good solid movement and progression for this story, and just seeing where all of our characters are right now. So leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'm going to be doing all of season 2 of My Hero Academia reviews. So if you guys want to catch all of those, you feel like subscribing, feel free to do so. I would love to talk with you guys about this series. The series is just overall fun, and just getting to see the Western influence that this creator had with his superhero genre that he's created is very, very cool. So I'm really looking forward to next week with episode 2 of My Hero Academia season 2. So until my review then, I'll talk with you guys then. Alright guys, I'll see you later. Plus Ultra.